Hey, this is Tom Corliss.
And this is Niccolo Cicero, and every Wednesday night we host WDW News Tonight.
And what is WDW News Tonight, Nick?
Well, Tom, it's a show.
It's actually a live weekly 2-hour show about Disney parks.
Yeah, we combine news, comedy, and everything in between. WDW News Tonight is like nothing you have ever heard before. You've read WDW News today, now listen to WDW News Tonight.
Take me riding in the car, take me riding in the car, take you riding in my car, I'll take you riding in my car. Click, clank, open up a door, girls. Click, clank, open up a door, boys. Front door, back door, clickety clack, take you riding in my car. Climb, rattle on the front seat. Spree, I spraddle on the back seat. Turn my key, step on the starter, take you riding in my car. Engine, it goes engine, it goes front seat, back seat, boys and girls, take you riding in my car. Trees in the houses walk along, trees in the houses walk along. Truck and a cart and a garbage can, I'll take you riding in my car. Ships and little boats chug along, ships and little boats chug along. Take you riding in my car. I'm gonna zoom you home again, I'm gonna zoom you home again. Roll home, take you riding in my car. I'm gonna let you blow the horn, I'm gonna let you blow the horn. Well, I'll take you riding in my car.
Здравствуйте.
An aged and addled couple of former East Bloc operatives believe they have discovered an American principality on which to exact radio revenge for the West's electronic incursions during the Cold War.
Оставьте меня в покое.
The Principality? A theme park in Anaheim, California. To them, it's Liechtenstein with the GDP of Qatar. And they've hired me to tell the stories and spin the discs. Well, it's a gig.
Meanwhile, stay tuned to this wavelength, stay calm, and stay in your own house. Remember, there's nothing to be gained by trying to get away.
I'll be riding along to point out some of the things you're going to see from your front row seat in Mr. Ford's automobile.
Dave Alvin, Jim Lauderdale, The Cactus Blossoms, Chuck Berry, Colvin and Earl, and Jack Kerouac with Steve Allen, as well as other special guests and noteworthy recorded performances. Plus, an experience aboard what could be considered to be the original Radiator Springs Racers, and R&B aficionado Steve Probst deducts the origin of a classic car song.
Позвоните в милицию.
This is Radio Free Disneyland.
God said to Abraham, kill me a son. And Abe said, man, you must be putting me on. God said, no. Abe said, what? God said, you can do what you want, Abe, but next time you see me coming, yeah, you better run. Abe said, where you want this killing done? And God said, out on Highway 61. just saying he had a bloody nose. And the welfare department wouldn't give him no clothes. So he asked poor Howard, where can I go? And Howard said, there's only one place I know. Sam said, tell me quick, man, I gotta run. And old Howard just pointed with his gun and said, that way down Highway 61. The finger said to Louis the King, I got 40 red, white, and blue shoestrings and 1,000 telephones that don't ring. Man, you know where I can get rid of these things? And Louis the King said, let me think for a minute, son. And he said, yeah, I think it can be easily done. Just take everything down to Highway 61. Now the fifth daughter on the 12th night told the first father that things weren't right. My complexion, she says, is much too white. And he said, come here and step into the light. Yeah, you're right. Let me tell the second mother that this has been done. The second mother was with the seventh son, and they were both out on Highway 61. Gambler, he was very bored, trying to create the next world war. He found a promoter who nearly fell off the floor. And he said, you know, I never engaged in this kind of thing before, but yeah, I think it can be very easily done. We'll just put some bleachers out in the sun and have it out on Highway 61.
These batches job, I'm crying, please. Please don't do me wrong. I've been driving my Terry plant now for since I've been gone. Mr. Highwayman, please don't block the road. Don't block the road. 'Cause she read in the cold 100 and I'm booked and I got to go. Since I've been gone, I'm gonna get deep down in this connection. Keep on tangling with your wife. I'm gonna get deep down in this connection. Keep on tangling with your wife. And when I met down on your starter, and your father will give me fire.
Man, I'd rather work in the foundry than put fishes in a can. I'm 35 and I haven't traveled far, and I've spent all my money on this misbegotten car. I'm up against it all, like a leaf against the wind. And the Studebaker keeps on breaking down again. My Studebaker keeps on breaking down again. I thought I'd go to Fresno just to see my friend, but my damn Studebaker keeps on breaking. Smoking, I ran her off the shoulder, and now the axle's broken. It made a sound that cracked my heart in half, and with only half pint of vodka left, I'm up against it all, like a leaf against the wind. Keeps on breaking down again. My Studebaker
Hot Rod Lincoln stems back to Hot Rod Race by Archie Shibley.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very complicated, and the song sort of developed over the decades, really.
We are talking with R&B authority Steve Probst, a longtime DJ at KLON FM 88 during a golden time at the Long Beach station.
Hot Rod Race was, like I say, originally recorded by Archie Shibley, and there's a line in there about we're cruising along like white folks might, and then it was covered by Ramblin' Jimmy Dolan. In those days, every song, particularly in the country and R&B field, if it showed promise, then it was covered. Red Foley covered it for Decca. Ramblin' Jimmy Dolan covered it for Capitol. Archie Shibley had it on Mountain Dew, which was picked up by Guild Edge, which is a small-time LA label. And then Archie Shibley proceeded, well, that lyric, white folks might, was changed by either Foley or Dolan to poor folks might. They wanted to take race out of it. And then Shibley recorded all sorts of Hot Rod Race answer records. Archie Meets the Judge. Archie Meets the Judge Part 2. You know, I mean, he kept milking the theme to death. Then in 55, about 5 years after the fact, Charlie Ryan recorded it as Hot Rod Lincoln on a very small label out of Spokane. That didn't do anything. And then 5 years after that, he re-recorded it for basically the same company that Archie Shibley had done Hot Rod Race for, and his became a hit, and it was covered by Johnny Bond for Columbia. So those two competed for the Hot Rod Lincoln, and it was a huge hit. So then Commander Cody and all those people got in on the act. I don't know how many versions are out there, but there's quite a few. But it's a great country boogie, and it's very local to LA. Starts in Pedro, ends up on the Grapevine. You know everything that they had to pass to do that trip, and there was no Harbor Freeway at the time. It was like city streets. Going straight up, I don't know what they'd go up, Broadway or, you know, whatever. And they'd end up in the hills. Sort of a cool concept, I think.
Yeah.
Brother Joe were home asleep in San Pedro. When the doorbell rang and I run to the door, there stood a cop and he sure was sore. You're under arrest, you're going to the clink for reckless driving and raising such a stink. So grab your hat and hurry too, the judge wants to have a little talk with you. Put me in the wagon and locked the door. I thought I'd never see my wife no more. The cops finally got me, but what the heck? Me and the Mercury stayed neck and neck. We got to the station and he took me inside. The cop, he told me, was the end of the ride. We went down the hall and opened the door, and there stood the judge in the middle of the floor. My driver license and all my money too, and said 6 months I'm giving to you. But I don't care for what the heck. Me and that Mercury stayed neck and neck. Now I'm sitting in my cell all broken hearted, and the 6 months has barely started. But I'm not the only one that's feeling blue, cause the guy that drove the Mercury's in here too. The cops are still looking both night and day for the kid in the hopped-up Model A. They say they'll catch him, but I don't think it's so, cause that Model A can fairly go. Now, I'll be out of here some of these days, and I'll hunt the kid in the Model A. And he'll be the one who'll have to pray, cause I'm gonna get me a hopped-up Model A.
Drive and drive, don't you ever sleep, calling out the exit signs like promises to keep. Yeah, promises to keep. Shooting star racing through the night. As long as you keep moving, you won't have to die. No, you won't have to die. Farther on and down the road, burning up your life. Always someplace else to go. You just drive, drive, drive. Round and round a Colorado town, like a Mustang in the mountains, you're too wild to settle down. Sing your song, throw your hammer in the air, burning both ends of the candle and pretending you don't care, pretending you don't care. Farther on and down the road, burning up your life. Always someplace else to go. You just drive, drive, drive. And down the road, burning up your life. Always someplace else to go. You just drive, drive, drive. Oh, drive and drive, don't you ever sleep. Lay down by the railroad ties, promises to keep. Yeah, promises to keep. Drive and drive. Drive and drive.
People have asked me why did I write that book or any book. All the stories I wrote were true because I believed in what I saw. I was traveling west one time at the junction of the state line of Colorado, its arid western one, and the state line of poor Utah. I saw in the clouds, huge and massed above the fiery golden desert of Evenfall, the great image of God with forefinger pointed straight at me, through halos and rolls and gold folds that were like the existence of a gleaming spear in his right hand, which saith, "Come on, boy, go thou across the ground. Go moan for man. Go moan. Go groan. Go groan alone. Go roll your bones alone. Go thou and be little beneath my sight. Go thou and be minute as seed in the pod. Go thou, die hence, and of this world report you well and truly." Anyway, I wrote the book because we're all gonna die. In the loneliness of my life, my father dead, my brother dead, my mother far away, my sister and my wife far away. Nothing here but my own tragic hands that once were guarded by a world of sweet attention, that now are left to guide and disappear their own way into the common dark of all our death. Sleeping in me raw bed alone and stupid, with just this one pride and consolation. My heart broke in the general despair and opened up inwards to the Lord. I made a supplication in this dream. So in the last page of On the Road, I describe how the hero, Dean Moriarty's come to see me all the way from the West Coast just for a day or two. We've just been back and forth across the country several times in cars, and now our adventures are over. We're still great friends, but we have to go into later phases of our lives. So there he goes, Dean Moriarty, ragged in the moth-eaten overcoat he brought specially for the freezing temperatures of the East. Walking off alone, and last I saw of him, he rounded the corner of 7th Avenue, eyes on the street ahead, and bent to it again. Gone. So, in America, when the sun goes down, and I sit on the old broken-down river pier watching the long, long skies over New Jersey, and sense all that raw land that rolls in one unbelievable huge bulge over to the West Coast, and all that road going, and all the people dreaming in the immensity of it. In Iowa, I know by now that children must be crying in the land where they let the children cry. And tonight the stars will be out, and don't you know that God is Pooh Bear? The evening star must be drooping and shedding her sparkler dims on the prairie, which is just before the coming of complete night that blesses the earth, darkens all the rivers, cups the peaks, and folds the final shore in. Nobody knows what's going to happen to anybody besides the forlorn rags of growing old. Think of Dean Moriarty, I even think of old Dean Moriarty, the father we never found. Think of Dean Moriarty, I think of Dean Moriarty.
Shifting into reverse, we heard readings from On the Road and Visions of Cody from the Ultimate Beat, Jack Kerouac, with piano accompaniment from TV talker pioneer Steve Allen. Steve Areno is considered to be the original host of NBC's still running The Tonight Show, but this performance is from the Steve Allen Plymouth Show, which makes it even more roadworthy. Before that, Jim Lauderdale sang Drive from his new disc titled This Changes Everything. Lauderdale is the real deal. And just before that, we heard Steve Probst's elongated request for Archie Meets the Judge, Hot Rod Race number 3, which I feel we gracefully accommodated. Steve was a beacon in his days at FM 88 KLON in Long Beach, California, when all facets of the American roots canon were explored by the station, on the air, with its intimate live music shows, and at the legendary Long Beach Blues Festival. In our time now, which is widely considered to be a golden age of popular music festivals, I miss the low-key atmosphere of the Long Beach Fest, its ancients and its upstarts. Preceding Randy Newman's McQueen and Sally from the first Cars film, we sympathized with Jordan Zevon over the lingering death of his father Warren's Studebaker. While we were briefly delayed by an unexpected turn onto Highway 61, back near Clarksdale, Mississippi, we heard Robert Johnson simultaneously create and deconstruct an entire musical genre in Terraplane Blues. There's a reason there are so many legends about Johnson. Just listen to him, you'll get it. Dave Alvin, always a man with a map, let us know exactly where we were in the Nobel-laureated Highway 61. But before that, we warmed up the ride with Woody Guthrie's childlike Riding in My Car. Follow us! Check out our huge show notes page and wonder exactly what we are compensating for at wdwnt.com.
Hey, you! You fellas must be strangers around here. I better straighten you out.
Something wrong, officer?
You just happen to be violating Section 17B, Article 4. That's all that's wrong.
The safety belt law. Oh, we never wear safety belts. We're dummies.
Now, look, you happen to be talking to the law. Don't you get smart-nosed with me.
How are we going to pay for this? We're always broke.
Let's get that vehicle out of here.
You'd learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention? For your personal safety, please remain seated at all times. Keep your hands and arms inside the car and no smoking, please. Your car radio is preset for channel and volume and requires no further adjustment. And now your host, Henry Ford II.
Welcome aboard Ford Motor Company's Magic Skyway. an adventure created by the incomparable Walt Disney. A voyage through time and space from a dark and distant yesterday to a bright and promising tomorrow. I hope you will all have an entertaining trip. And now, here to tell you about your journey is Walt Disney.
Thank you, Mr. Ford, and hello, friends. I'll be riding along to point out some of the things you're going to see from your front row seat in Mr. Ford's automobiles. Thanks to some old-fashioned magic we call imagination, this Ford Motor Company car will be your time machine for your journey, carrying you far back in time to the dawn of life on land and transporting you far out into the future. But that's getting far ahead of our story. Right now, we're leaving the world of today behind. So if your imagination is ready, here we go. We're traveling backwards in time, many millions of years, in fact, back to a day when giant creatures thundered over the land and soared like gliders across the sky. You're probably familiar with some of their names: Allosaurus, Edaphosaurus, Pterodactyl. Not exactly the kind of pets you would keep around the house. In fact, most of them were kind of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and that's as big as they come. Our ancestors never heard the sounds you're about to hear or saw the sights of the world you're about to visit. We're moving back long before man arrived on our planet. Our story begins just ahead in the warm primeval seas that covered the earth millions of years ago. It was always summer here, even in Alaska. And a swamp like this attracted whole families of touring dinosaurs, like those tall Brontosaurus. Father Brontosaurus over there weighed 60,000 pounds, and he ate his vegetables every day. In fact, that's all he ate. The Pteranodon flew with wings like a bat, but he was really a reptile, like all the other dinosaurs. Even those armor-plated Triceratops hatched bouncing baby reptiles. Protection from the king of all the dinosaurs. Even his name was frightening: Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, as a changing Earth ends the rule of the reptiles, the magic skyway takes you forward in time once more, toward the shadow of a new arrival, man. This was a strange new world, but man embarked on his adventure with a new power, the ability to think and reason. Before long, the caveman discovered how to harness nature's fire to cook his food and warm his home. The things he learned, like fire making and language, were passed from father to son and to a friend in need. His hunting and tool-making skills helped trap the woolly mammoth and gave his world its name, the Stone Age. Caveman recorded his adventures for posterity on the walls of his home, probably when his wife was out. Here's a fellow we would all like to meet, the inventor of the first wheel. As you can see, it was a trial and error process, square wheels, oblongs, and finally, the round wheel. The wheel gave man a new freedom. Now he could leave the caves behind and travel on to seek his fortune in the wide, wide world. Thousands of years raced by as man applied the wheel to explore the world. And then he discovered new ways to make the wheel work for him. There were water wheels for generating power and iron wheels to span the continent. Wheels within wheels for industry's machines. Wheels for the automobile and the airplane. And just as the first wheel freed man from his cave, today they have carried us to the beginning of still another new age. And now the magic skyway becomes a highway in the sky, carrying you across the boundless night and out into time and space. We've come a long way in our journey with man, and here we are on the threshold of tomorrow. Man's achievements in science and industry have carried us here, and like the blast-off of a space vehicle for the moon and beyond, man's achievements have challenged our hopes and rocketed our dreams beyond the horizons. Perhaps someday we'll be riding rocket ships like those flashing overhead to anywhere in space. Perhaps someday we will drive jet-powered vehicles over weather-controlled highways in the sky like the spiraling tubes around you. But all such dreams begin in the minds of men. Men of vision, faith, and imagination. Men of science and industry, education, and the arts. As we have seen along the magic skyway, man is always on the move, searching and dreaming beyond the horizons of today and bringing the promise of tomorrow ever closer to reality. Now our journey is almost at an end. On behalf of your host, Ford Motor Company, and the creative staff of the Walt Disney Studio who dreamed up this adventure, I hope you have enjoyed your trip on the Magic Skyway. Thanks for joining us.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to enter the area where you will disembark. Please remain seated until the host opens the car door for you. Remember to take your personal belongings with you as you leave the car. Face forward and walk to the handrail on the moving platform. Thank you.
Stoplight kisses, what I want from you. Stoplight kisses, all I wanna do. When I pull to the crosswalk, east on the small talk, you know what's on my mind. I loosened up my seatbelt, made it really heartfelt, kissing time to the don't walk sign. Stoplight kisses, telling you the I got dark and I got late and I can't see straight. I'm moving slow when the light turns green. Prettiest eyes I've ever seen. No stoplight kisses telling you it's true. Stoplight kisses, you drive away my blues. Side street, I can feel your heartbeat. You're so close to me. The rhythm of the traffic sounds like magic. We can make a melody. Stoplight kisses, telling you it's true. Stoplight kisses, you drive away my blues. Well, stoplight kisses drive away my blues.
We've all got wings to take ourselves away. We got the telephone to say what we can't never look back. Someday I'm finally gonna let go. I know there's a better way. I want another sun without a rainbow. I'm gonna get out of here someday. I'm gonna get out of here someday.
All right now, you be sure to stay seated with your seatbelt buckled. It's the law in my town.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild. Cruising and playing the radio, with no particular place to go. Riding along in my automobile, I was anxious to tell her the way I feel. So I told her softly and sincere, and she leaned and whispered in my ear, cuddling more and driving slow, with no particular place to go. Particular place to go. So we parked way out on the Kokomo. The night was young and the moon was gold, so we both decided to take a stroll. Can you imagine the way I felt? I couldn't unfasten a safety belt. Riding along in my calaboose, still trying to get her belt to loose. All the way home I held a grudge for the safety belt that wouldn't budge. Cruising and playing the radio, with no particular place to go.
Working from the end to beginning, which I know is weird, but that's the way it's done. We heard Chuck Berry checking seatbelts like a good ride-op in no particular place to go. Ladies, please pull on the yellow tabs so I can see them. Emmylou Harris sang Wheels with her Spy Boy band of a few years back. Before that, Colvin and Earl combined on Someday, an Earl song that they are both well known for. Shawn Colvin is probably best known for her exquisite concept album on divorce, A Few Small Repairs, and its hit single, Sonny Came Home. Earl, the singer-songwriter, actor, record producer, activist, New Yorker from Tennessee, and serial monogamist, is truly a legendary musician, and also many of the aforementioned things. Before that, we got a whiff of that new group smell with Spotlight Kisses by the Cactus Blossoms after our little ride on the Magic Skyway with Walt and Hank the Deuce. The Blossoms definitely bring sibling harmony records into this century on their current contribution titled You're Dreaming. Some of the songs we've heard today are a part of the Cars Land background music loop, some aren't. Some should be. but we do applaud the more modern approach to BMG used in Cars Land and now in Grizzly Peak at the Smoke Jumpers Grill. The breadth of the music used and the ability to score different moments differently gives a more spontaneous feeling to what are certainly highly curated experiences. The music always changes, but it's always the right music. As hard as we work, it seems some folks just can't get enough of these playlists. So not unlike the stuff off the floor of a meatpacking house, we are now packaging up songs that might not have made the show with some that have, along with some that never would, just saying. Amplifying the main show's overarching theme, musically expanding the narratives, and in some cases perhaps functioning as an apology for some perceived slight. These playlists are now available to Spotify users at the Radio Free Disneyland Spotify page. Also look for the links on each episode's show notes page and on wdwnt.com.
Last night I was out driving, coming home at the end of working day.
This is DJ Middlebrow signing off for Radio Free Disneyland.
Спокойной ночи. Удачи.